Caleb Williams set a date for when he plans to announce his commitment. Now, there are 27 crystal balls in. All 27 have him going to the University of Oklahoma. And while we're on the subject, he is down to 2 other schools. Maryland, his home state. Mike Locksley's been pulling rabbits out of hats here over the past 2 years in recruiting, even if he can't get more than 3 wins on the field. And LSU, who is the defending national champion. And wow, what a season they just had, where they took a kid that wasn't rated very highly, flipped the offense, and came up with what I believe is the best season in college football history, with Nebraska in 95 and Army in 45 probably wanting to fight me over that. But the likelihood of Caleb Williams committing to LSU was also in considerable doubt, because LSU took a quarterback commit last month in Garrett Nussmeier. That is the son of Doug Nussmeier, who is the quarterback's coach at the Dallas Cowboys, but more importantly was an offensive analyst at LSU. Now, can you see more than one quarterback in a class? Absolutely, especially here of late. But I went looking for the answer to a very specific question of, have we ever seen a 5-star quarterback like Caleb Williams and a 4-star quarterback like Garrett Nussmeier in the same class together? So I decided to go through the 247 Sports composite rankings and check out the last 10 years. And what I found was, you had 2 5-star quarterbacks in 2020. One of those is Bryce Young, goes to Alabama. The other one is DJ Uiagalelei, goes to Clemson. Okay? Texas took in 2 quarterbacks again, both 4-stars, Hudson Card and Jaquindon Jackson, although Jaquindon Jackson is more likely of the 2 to play another position. In 2019, you had 2 5-star quarterbacks. That would be Spencer Rattler and Bo Nix. Neither one of those guys was joined by another quarterback in the class. Although, in the 2020 class, you saw Max Johnson and TJ Finley go up together at LSU. So they're already kind of loaded at that position, which I want to get back to in a bit. And then in 2018, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, JT Daniels. Those are your 5-star quarterbacks. Each one of them went into their classes alone, right? This even as we've seen CJ Stroud and Jack Miller go in the 2020 class together. And Vandy also took in 2 quarterbacks, both 4-stars. 2017, you have 3 5-stars. Davis Mills at Stanford, Hunter Johnson at Clemson, now at Northwestern, and Tua Tagovailoa. Now, Tua's interesting because they took in another quarterback in that class with him. But it was a 3-star, Mac Jones, who is the incumbent starter at Alabama if he does not get usurped by one, Bryce Young. 2016, Shea Patterson committed and signed with Ole Miss before transferring to Michigan, and Jacob Eason signed with Georgia. They were not joined by other quarterbacks. Get to 2015, which is just a wild year to look at now that we have a couple of years in the pros to evaluate. Josh Rosen is a 5-star quarterback, went to UCLA. Blake Barnett, 5-star quarterback, hasn't been heard from since Bama. And Kyler Murray goes to Ampersand U. Also in this 2015 class, John Kolar is ranked just behind Joe Burrow, 19 and 20. And then Lamar Jackson somehow is ranked the 28th best quarterback in the 2015 class. Guys that rank ahead of him include dudes like Ty Story, Ricky Towns, okay? Sam Darnold, maybe I'll let you have that one, maybe. But it's just a wild class to look at. Also in that class, Deandre Francois, who was joined by another quarterback, right? Now he's 4-star, but I think it bears saying DeAndre Johnson, 3-star, ended up at Florida State before Florida Atlantic. 2014 has saw 1 5-star quarterback. That's Kyle Allen, who has been basically a journeyman in the NFL and was, once again, battling with another 5-star quarterback in Kyler Murray for time. And then when we get to 2013, Max Brown and Christian Hackenberg are your only 5-star quarterbacks. Hackenberg signs with Penn State, Max Brown with USC. 2012 is an interesting year. Jameis Winston is the 5-star quarterback. He's joined by another quarterback, 3-star, Sean McGuire, right? But when you get to 2011, it is the only instance where I can find a 5-star quarterback being joined by a 4-star quarterback. And that would be Jeff Driskel. My goodness, what a misevaluation that was. And Jacoby Brissett is the 4-star quarterback. One of those guys has won a Super Bowl. One of those guys had a hard time playing quarterback in such a way that people were going, maybe he should just go play baseball. And then in 2010, Phil Simms is the only 5-star quarterback. So what I am telling you is the likelihood of a Caleb Williams joining an LSU is basically 1 in 10 if we're looking at the way that the 2-4 Sports composite rankings have gone with quarterbacks who are 5-star, 4-star. But it is even less in the case of this LSU team because their quarterback room could potentially have 4 dudes in it right now. One of those guys is going to be the starter. We think Miles Brennan's got that job pretty much sewn up. And then they got a couple of freshmen that are in the same class, one of which is a tremendous project, but is also 6'6". And the other one is the son of Brad Johnson, and all he did was win a Super Bowl. So while I understand there are Maryland fans that think that Talia Tagovailoa coming in has nothing to do with whether or not they're going to get Caleb Williams. And there are LSU fans that think so much of themselves and so much of LSU football that they're going to end up with a 5-star and a 4-star quarterback. While nobody here is willing to admit the one thing that I think we can all count on. Somebody at every last one of these universities is going to transfer. So as much as I really do love covering recruiting and talking about it because the stories of how these kids get to where they are fascinating, but also have some bearing on future movements, that's what they are. They are significant periods on the timeline for which we will be able to evaluate future movements. Again, take a look at Kyler Murray, who was one of the best quarterbacks that we have seen in a decade in high school, in college, and we think in the NFL when it's all said and done. Starts out at Ampersand U, ends up at Oklahoma. Many people thought that Josh Rosen was going to be the best pro-style quarterback of the decade. That chooses not to be true. Many people thought that Joe Burrow wasn't even good enough to go to Nebraska, let alone Ohio State. And then he flips himself into a Heisman winner, #1 overall pick. And my favorite, once again, Lamar Jackson, whom some college football coaches did not believe was smart enough to run their offenses, goes to Bobby Petrino at Louisville, wins a Heisman, and is only the second unanimous MVP in the history of the NFL behind the person most people would tell you is the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. And oh, by the way, that guy, 6th-round draft pick, 199 overall, he won't let you forget. It's tattooed on his production company. So what I'm really saying is, why haven't we had a conversation why Mike Gundy hasn't put together, a Heisman caliber quarterback? John Kohler's right behind Joe Burrow. Does anybody hear that? Just, John Kohler. That's all I'm saying.